Hey, this is Duffy Jones from DVM Success, and today I'm going to talk about Vet-Telligence and specifically one of the modules in Vet-Telligence of the financial data. So when you log on to Vet-Telligence, you're going to come into this opening screen. I'm going to hit financial data that will bring you to here. And then what you're going to do is go ahead and select your hospital and then hit practice evaluation. This is our main dashboard and our main report that's going to give you a lot of information about what's going on with your practice. The first thing you're going to see is you're going to see that you can choose what things you want to look at: revenue, COGS, labor, or EBITDA. And you can look at it as a monthly or a trailing 12 months. So right now, this hospital, we're looking at revenue monthly. So the blue line is the revenue dollars monthly that are occurring over those months. The gold line is the optimized line, or where we want this hospital to be. So you see it bounces around a little bit, where it's some months is above, some months is below. You can look at this in a trailing 12 months as well too, and it'll give you an idea, kind of smooths out the curve, kind of let you know how it's doing. So this hospital is doing a little bit better here, then kind of went under, and then kind of is making a recovery here. So it gives you really good information. You can switch between your COGS, so you can look at your COGS. Again, here's the blue line, the actual COGS number that they have, and here's the gold line where we want them to be. So they've got kind of a COGS issue, and that they've been working on it, and they started to correct it here towards the end of the year. As you see, you can actually hover over any of these and it'll actually give you the dollar amount of that COGS for the trailing 12 months. You can also see that in monthly. It's going to be a little bit more erratic because, again, you buy things not that consistently through the month, so you'll be able to look at exactly how much you spent per month from there. Same thing with labor. We can look at it monthly. We can look at it at a trailing 12 months. You can see they did a really job controlling their labor here. And then it kind of, they hired some people, looked like, then they actually went down a little bit and they're kind of growing back up. But overall, this hospital has done a really good job of controlling their labor. When we look at their overall EBITDA, we can see very, very high EBITDA here, dropped down a little bit more, and is kind of coming back up. So we can look at what were the drivers for that decrease in EBITDA there. Up here gives you the overall of how they're doing. So they're at 20%, 27% even on a 3-year average. So that's above where we want them. A lot of hospitals were shooting for 23, so they're at 27. That's great. These are also points that you can look at. It'll give you your actuals from where they are. You've got 3-year averages on labor. So you can see that as well too. They're a little bit above where we want to be, but not too bad. And then 3-year on COGS as well too, and then 3 years on revenue. This panel over here gives them your current EBITDA, so you can know exactly what you're worth at this moment right now. Gives you a current valuation at a 6 multiple. You can kind of switch the multiple here and see what happens there. And then this gives you your optimized value. So if we corrected some of the things that we need to, this hospital could be worth actually a little bit more. This hospital is actually over optimized. They're doing really well. So their optimized number is a little bit lower than their current value, which is what we want. So as you can see, this first graph just gives you a lot of information about what's going on in your hospital, all at your fingertips. And you can mess around with it. You can look at it how you want to look at it. You can look at those different drivers of EBITDA as well too. Anytime you want to get back to the menu, you just go back to this back arrow here, brings you right back in. Cost evaluation is the next report that we typically look at. And what this is going to do is it's going to start to break down, again, some key drivers of EBITDA. So when we look at here, it breaks down your cost of goods sold. Here's your actual P&L amount. Here's the percentage of revenue. So they're running at 15%. Really, really good right now. Here's their optimized amount. And then here is their optimized amount. So they're actually under the optimized amount. So they don't really need to do much on their cost of goods sold, which is fantastic. DVM comp, same thing. They're running about 16. We would like to see them at about 20. So they're doing a great job on that. That is really hard to control. So good work. Support staff, they're running a little bit higher. We'd like to see them about 18. They're running about 21%. So if they really want to kind of reduce that, they can reduce that by about $66,000. That is a little bit harder, but it does give you a target to shoot for if you want to do it. And then their operating expenses, we got them about 15. They're running about 18. So that would be something we'd want to dig into and say, okay, what's driving that up? Is it rent? Is it something else? Is it something I can control? Down here, to really help you get to those optimized targets, if you download your revenue weekly, then you'll get a budget number for the following week. This hospital just didn't download it last week, so that's why it's blank. But it can give you a target to shoot for a labor budget and for a COGS budget. Again, another way to look at the EBITDA. So this is kind of a gauge right here. Here is the optimized value at this line here. Here's where they actually are. So they're doing great. P&L. So basically this is a way that you can look at your P&L over time and all of your categories. So up here, you've got a slider to choose your date range. So you can choose it to whatever you want. You can choose it to different years. You can choose it to whatever, and it'll automatically adjust from there. You can go to calendar year look. You can go to quarter look. You can go to month name, different ways you can do it. And all these are expandable. So whenever I open this up, this is going to follow the VMG chart of accounts. So if they've got money in these buckets and we've mapped things to it, you're going to start to see it show up here so that we can really tell, okay, how are they doing in that particular category as opposed to what they did last year. So you can really look across and see at what category have maybe you lost some ground or gained some ground with your revenue, or lost some ground with your cost of goods sold. So all those are expandable. So really let you dive into your P&L and really look for those things that could be affecting your EBITDA. P&L summary is the last report we're going to look at. And really what that is gives a high level of the P&L. A lot of people don't like looking at their P&L. There's a lot of data in there and people get overwhelmed. So we made this P&L summary. So what it does is it looks same thing, slider up here of where you want to look at these years, and it will then look at the income over previous year and the growth, your COGS, and then over previous year, labor over previous year. So like if we're looking at that time frame, it's going to be looking back a year from that time to see what it is. It's also graphically represented for people who like graphs up here, but it really gives you an idea of what your hospital is doing year over year. So that's the financial data part of Vet-Telligence. So I hope you enjoy it. And again, if you have any questions, please let us know. Thanks so much.